This is the Happily Ever After Place, a romance podcast brought to you by Pearl and Honey Book Club, where we discuss all things romance, from romance books to romance authors to romance adaptations. Join us every week for conversations about our favorite books, in-depth interviews with some of our favorite authors, and so much more. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hi, this is Pearl. Um, Welcome to another episode of our podcast. So, the year is almost over. Not almost over, holy shit. It's not. I mean, honestly, it kind of is with the way it's running. We're already 6 months in, but the year is almost half over. I'm recording this on like the 28th of June, so yeah, it is actually almost half over. And honestly, once it's June, it's August. Next thing you know, it's October, and then it's Christmas. So, anyway, I thought that I could do like a 6 month check in, right? Like, what are the books that I've read this year that I have loved so far? This year has been a very serious, like, arc year. I've read a lot of arcs, and I still do have quite a few to go. But I've been so excited to receive these arcs, to read them. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background, but it is kind of a rainy day. It is a rainy day for me. Anyway, I just was thinking, what if I just picked out what are my top 10 books that I've read so far this year? Um, Honestly, this was a hard list for me to make, mostly because I've read a lot of great books this year, most of which have been 4 5-star books, honestly. Like, most of the books I've read this year have been 4 stars and 5 stars for me. I've really enjoyed most of the books that I've read this year. But anyway, I still made a list. I actually wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget any book. And I feel like this is probably going to have one honorary mention. So technically, even though I said I was going to tell you about 10 books, I'll be telling you about 11 books that I've read this year that I've really, really enjoyed and that have stayed with me in like just very different ways. So let's just jump right in. Okay, first I should let you know that every year I set a reading goal for 52 books. I've been doing this for the last 4 or 5 years at least. Every year I definitely go read more books than my goal, but 52 is like my yearly goal because reading is supposed to be fun for me. It's not like a pressure situation. So, anyway, so far it's June and I've read 34 books. I'm currently finishing the 35th one. And so let's just jump right into it. So the first book on my list, this is in no particular order, by the way. So this is not like first book, second book, 10th book, whatever. This is just in no particular order. These are some of my favorite books that I've read so far this year. The first one I'm going to talk about, it's actually the first arc that I read this year. It's called Rom-com, like Domcom, like rom-com, but Dom-com. Did you get it? It's by Adriana. It is a romantic comedy, but like a kinky romantic comedy. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was my first book by this author, Adriana. It was a NetGalley read. Thank you, NetGalley. And it was such a great way to like start my arcs this year. It was funny. It was lighthearted, but it was also like so beautiful. I really, really loved so many things about the book. I think one of my favorite things about the book to begin with was the fact that the FMC is an eldest daughter, which I'm an eldest daughter, so that immediately made me go, yeah, I love her. And then, as if that's not enough, she's also like a professional caretaker, aka she's an HR person. But I don't want to give you any spoilers, but I'm just going to say this book was wonderful. I loved the way that her relationship with the MMC developed. I loved the way that um I just loved the way that this story happened, from like the way they met to them getting to know each other to the way they fell in love with each other. Like, one of the things that has really stayed with me from the book is there's a character in the book who is the person that the FMC works for, her boss, and she works like I think it's a dating app company, but it's not like a giant corporation type of dating app. It's more like a small office of just people. Like, her boss is just really interested in connecting people, and yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. Plus, the FMC is an eldest daughter, like I said, and she has sisters, which, I mean, seeing her relationship with her sisters, her relationship with her best friend, her relationship with her boss, like, I just really enjoyed the way that the book kind of navigated all of these different relationships and what they mean to us, and the way that we show up in our relationships, and the way that sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves because we're so busy taking care of everyone else. And like, we need to learn to take care of ourselves in order to better take care of the people that we love. I really, really enjoyed it. It was such a fun read. Plus, the book inspired me to buy a book nook because the FMC um, enjoys making book nooks. And yeah, I haven't started to build my nook yet. I have all the pieces. Have I opened my box? No, not yet. But I am definitely going to do it at some point. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Rom-com by Adriana. The second book on my list is The End of Romance by Meyers. Oh my god. I can talk about this book for hours. I'm not going to, but I can, but I won't. Which was also an arc. I told you, I've been very, very lucky with like arcs this year. My arcs this year have been like epic. I've loved a lot of them. I think most of the books on my list that I'm about to tell you about are arcs. But anyway, The End of Romance is a literary fiction, but it is also like a romance literary fiction. Don't let the name fool you. This is a romance book club. I read romance books, but I read them in a variety of ways. I read dark romance, I read literary fiction, I don't know why they say women's fiction, but that's a whole other conversation because I don't know what the fuck women's fiction is supposed to mean. But it is a romance literary fiction. I would put it that way. And it was lovely. So I'm not one of those people who, I'm not like, oh, I only read books where I feel like I find something that I have in common with the FMC. But I will say that for a lot of women, we have so many experiences in common, and there's all these little ways, and I've always been this way, even with film and television, and all the ways that I see things that I relate to or things that I connect with in characters, which I guess happens to a lot of people. But I really, really, really loved End of Romance. I really, really love the way that Meyers, the author, wrote this book. Like, I remember starting it, and my first thought, which I think, like, I annotated that book so much, but I think my first thought reading it was like, wow, the writing flows so well. There was just such a natural flow to it. And I think on in my review, I wrote about how the story is about overcoming pain. It's about healing from deep, like, emotional pain. And it really shows how messy the process of healing from pain is. And I really loved how honest the book was. Like, it was such an honest book. Like, it did not try to sugarcoat anything, but it also isn't trying to just make you cry or make you sad or whatever. It just shows like it just really paints a really honest picture of what healing looks like, because healing is not easy. It is not a thing that just happens. It takes work. It takes intention, but it also means you're going to make a lot of mistakes on your way there. You're going to see things in one way. You're going to change your mind about things. You're going to feel things that you never thought were possible. It was just such a beautiful book. Like, I feel like it really is a book about healing. Like, I know the title is like The End of Romance, which is kind of a reference to the FMC in the book is a PhD student, and I think she's doing a PhD in philosophy. I think it is philosophy. Yeah, I feel like it's philosophy. But this is a reference to something that she's part of her dissertation that she's writing about. And it's just, oh, God. This book had me in my feelings. I felt like so much. I felt so much. And it's like, if there's one thing that I've kind of always known about love or thought about love, is that to be loved is to be seen, and to be seen really clearly. And yeah, I don't know. There's just so much about being seen and not being seen by the people who are supposed to see you the most in this book that I really, really loved it. It was such a wonderful read. I cannot recommend it enough. Read The End of Romance. Like, yeah, it is such a great read. Read it. See, I'm really working hard not to give you spoilers and to give you ideas about the plot. Like, I don't want to say this is what this book is about. I'm just telling you how I felt about the book. So, trust me, bro. Okay. So number 3 is Her Dark Silence by Kinsley Hunt. Now, this book was an utter surprise for me. Like, again, I read so many books by authors that I've never read before. And honestly, I really love that for me, because I got to discover all of these really great authors. Her Dark Silence by Kinsley Hunt, it's a novella. So it's a really short book. Like, it's like 120 pages, 150 pages. It's a novella. It's a really short book. But I think what I really, really loved about it, first of all, is that sometimes with novellas, character development can be a bit difficult because you don't have a lot of time and a lot of pages to develop the characters, especially when you're telling like a full story. But this book did not have this problem. It did not have this problem. It's a really intense book. It's about I'm about to tell you what it's about, but it doesn't. It's okay. It's about a character that goes back to her hometown to figure out what happened to her twin sister who died. That's what it's about. That's about as much as I'm gonna give you. That's it. I'm not telling you anything else about the book, because anything else I tell you might be a spoiler, and I don't want to spoil it for you. But I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was lovely. I was on the edge of my seats the entire time. Like, I swear to God, I started reading it and I did not put it down until I finished, because I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what happened, when it happened, how it happened. Like, I was very interested in it. Like, one of my biggest things is I'm not really crazy about small towns, because I guess, I don't know if it's because I grew up in the city, so I don't know what being in a small town feels like. I've spent time in small towns, but like for the most part of my life, I grew up in the city. But I've always just had this thing about small towns where everyone knows your business, everyone has an opinion, because it's such a small community, so you can't really like, I don't know, everything becomes just this really outsized thing. Like, you can't just, everyone knows your business if you're in a small town. Anyway, this book really had me, honestly, it did not help my impression of small towns, which is not the book's fault. I think I have my own thing about small towns. I don't know. I think growing up in the city, and you just get used to it. And I've always just enjoyed the idea of being in the city where I can just get lost in it and just be and experience things, and I don't feel like everyone is focusing on every single detail of my life. But this book was emotional, it was intense, it was like, there's a lot of things, right? Navigating family relationships, navigating dealing with people who don't really know you but have made up their minds about you, navigating loss, real, like deep, painful loss, um, also navigating like healing from loss and grief. Like it was for something that was a novella, for a book that was a novella, it definitely like packed a punch. It did a lot of things, and yeah, it was such a pleasant read. I really enjoyed it. This was not an arc, so, and it was my first time reading this author too, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was great. My fourth book on my list is by an author who I love. Like, if you follow us on Pearl and Honey Book Club, if you've ever seen our page or you've ever watched our stories, or blah, 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 you know that I love QB Tyler. QB Tyler is one of my absolute favorite romance authors. I love that woman. Like, I don't care how deep of a reading slump I'm in, a QB Tyler book is going to get me out of it. And I know this because it has worked every time. Like, I have been in some really insane slumps, and I'm just like, okay, let me pick up a QB Tyler book. And it has never disappointed me. So I'm a QB Tyler girl. Like, she's like an insta read. Immediately she releases the book, I'm going to read it type of author. Like, I love QB Tyler. Anyway, in case I haven't made it clear, I really love QB Tyler. And this book is called Wilder Saints by QB Tyler. It came out earlier this year, but it is the second QB Tyler book that I got an arc for. The first one was The Nannies Off Limits, which I got last year. And when I tell you that I was on vacation, I was in my friend's house, and I literally screamed when I got the arc because my friends all know how much I love QB. And I was like, I cannot believe I got a QB Tyler arc. Anyway, this is my second QB Tyler arc called Wilder Saint. It is a taboo romance. It is about two. I mean, I guess you could technically say that they are step siblings, but also not really. But anyway, QB does taboo romance like no one else does taboo romance. All I'm saying is no one is better at writing taboo. Like, no one does taboo romance the way QB does it. No one. I loved this book. I enjoyed it. There was not a single moment of it that I did not enjoy. I thought it was just ah, wonderful. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. I love QB. I don't know what to tell you. If QB writes it, I'm going to read it. I will always read a QB Tyler book. That's not going to change. I've been reading her books for years now. I don't know. I think I recently posted a thing on our Instagram. We did that if she writes it, I will read it thing. And when I was doing the QB Tyler page, I swear I was like, holy shit, I did not realize I had read this many QB Tyler books. Turns out I have. So yeah, I'm a QB Tyler girly. And I enjoyed Wilder Saints. And I'm looking forward to her the two books. She has two more books coming out this year. The Cheerleaders Off Limits, which is like a sequel kind of to The Nannies Off Limits. This is the same series and it's about some of the same characters. And What Was Promised, which is coming in November. Like, hey QB, I don't know if you're ever going to listen to this, but if you do, I love you and I want to always read arcs of your books. But yeah, I loved Wilder Saints. So if you love taboo romance, if you love forbidding romance, if that is your thing at all, go read QB Tyler. She's great. Like, she's great. She has never disappointed me. She's great. Okay. Next on my list is The Very Definition of Love by Sophia Benoit. The Very Definition of Love is a historical romance. Now, I have to preface this by saying I don't really read historical romance. I have no problem with them. Like, I'm a Pride and Prejudice girly. I am a, like, Dude, don't even get me started on Mr. Darcy and his hands. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a Pride and Prejudice girly, but I've never really read historical romance. Like, I've never read the Bridgerton books, but I've watched the show, which of course I love because, again, I'm a Shonda Rhimes girl and I will watch everything that comes out of Shondaland. And I love Bridgerton. I have to say, not to like go off of my point about my book, but my favorite Bridgerton season is the Benedict season. I mean, it's season one and then the Benedict season. Mostly because I love season one. Obviously, it was fucking great. Simon and Daphne forever. But then I fell in love with Benedict immediately. I met his character in season one. So I was looking forward to his season so much that, like, when I knew his season was coming out, his season coming out, which is, like, I think it's the fourth one, right? Yeah, it's the fourth one. That's what made me watch season two and season three, which I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong, but I just fell in love with Benedict. I'm a bisexual woman. I love bisexual men. I'm like, yeah, give me the bisexuals always. And I fucking love Benedict's season. Anyway, I'm just trying to tell you this is my relationship with historical romance. And then last year, I read this dark historical romance called Unseen by R.D. Baker, which I loved because, and I think what drew me to it was when I think I saw her post about it on Threads, and she said it's a dark historical romance. And I'm like, huh, intriguing. I've never heard of a dark historical romance before. But anyway, I read it, I loved it, and so I was, again, lucky to get the arc for the very definition of love. And you guys, ladies, ladies, y'all, you have to read the very definition of love. I don't know, I don't care if you read historical romance or not. You have to read the very definition of love. When I tell you, it is so witty. Like the wits, the like it is so funny. It is so witty. It is so the banter between the MCs, the characters. Ugh, the FMC is working on a dictionary. I think she's working on a dictionary about something. Wait, no, I know this. I promise. I just blanked out for a second. No, wait. She's working on a dictionary about words. This I'm pretty sure. I actually am gonna look it up on my laptop right now just to be sure. But I know she's working on a dictionary. But that's not even the point. Like, this book had me at hello. That's my point. And my point is, it had me at. I immediately fell in love with this book from like right away. So, I mean, everyone has watched Bridgerton, so you know the whole thing about being on the marriage marts. Is it called a marriage mart or a marriage market? This sounds like a tongue twister now. It is the thing where like the young ladies are, going out to balls and stuff so that they can meet eligible bachelors. What is that called? Anyway, she was at a ball, and it's at this ball that she meets the MMC. Her name is Harriet Barrington, and his name is Lord Alexander. Oh my God, I'm just realizing that there are three Alexanders on the list of the books that I'm giving you today, but it is also one of my favorite names. So, yeah. Anywho, she's working on a dictionary of modern slang because words are her passion, and she's on her fifth, I think, season of being on the marriage mart. So, she's not exactly like considered the most eligible bachelorette. Is that what they're called? Is that what they were called in the Regency era? Okay. Anyway, it's great. The banter is fucking phenomenal. The wit, it's out of this world. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. Like, Alexander is a rake. So if you're, I'm trying to use this like Bridgerton terms. Anthony was a rake. Simon was a rake. Oh shit. Benedict was a rake. Only Colin was not a rake. But if you're into Regency romance where a rake falls head over heels in love with someone he totally did not expect to fall in love with, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. And like he makes a mess of things because he doesn't know what to do with himself. And you want witty banter, and you want marriage of convenience also, and you like it has so many things that I just love. Like I don't want to tell you more because I don't want to give you a spoiler mistakenly, but the very definition of love is for you if you're into historical romance. Like it is so good. It is so good. Even if you don't like historical romance, if you like a really well written romance book that has great dialogue, that has witty banter, that has, if you're into like the marriage of convenience thing, you gotta read this book, babe. You have to read this book. It's so good. I loved it. There is not a single thing about it that I did not love. Anyway, yeah, that ends my long-winded, not rant, but read the very definition of love. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. The next is As Long as It Takes by Jill Francis. This is another arc. Like I said, lots of arcs on this list. I've been very grateful and very lucky with arcs. As Long as It Takes by Jill Francis is a contemporary romance. This is not, we're done with historical now. It's a contemporary romance set in a beautiful town in Italy, which, again, I love Italy. Like, I feel like in my past life, I may have been Italian. I don't know. Or maybe it's just because, like, I really love pasta that I think so. But I love Italy. It's one of my favorite places in the world. But this is such a great book. I'm seeing like a connecting thread here. A lot of the FMCs are, doing their PhDs, they're academics, or they're writing books, or they're into words. You know what? Makes sense. That's my shit. Anyway, As Long as It Takes was such a beautiful book. It was also a NetGalley arc. I did not know anything about, like, beyond, like, the description, which I really loved the blurb, which is why I wanted to read the book. And it did not disappoint me at all. I love it. I love it. I love it. It also, oh my God. Another thing that I'm seeing is a connecting thing with a lot of my books is there's a lot of, like, dealing with grief type of situations, but in different ways, because I like to see all the different ways, which is, okay, I know I'm going off topic now, but bear with me. I have ADHD, so, I'm gonna say stuff, whatever. Anyway, As Long as It Takes deals with the stories about this girl who goes to this tiny Italian town to claim her Italian citizenship because her dad was Italian. I'm not going to tell you more than that. I just realized if I tell you more, that would be a spoiler, and I am not doing spoilers. I am literally not going to give you a spoiler. But As Long as It Takes is really fucking good. Like, really good. I felt like, honestly, and it's such a good summer read. It's not out yet. I think it's out on the 14th of July or something. But I know it's out in July. I felt like I was spending my summer in Italy while I was reading it. Like, it paints such a beautiful picture that you will literally feel like you are in the Italian town with these characters, and you're like living your best Italian summer life while it is happening. I'm gonna tell you that much. But it is also deals with like themes of grief and healing from it, especially like, so the FMC never knew her dad and has lost her mom. So both her parents are dead. So she's an orphan, but she's an adult, and she's just dealing with like adulting while basically just being by herself in the world because she was an only child. But she also has like a found family. She has friends. She meets great people when she gets to this town, all the things. But it's also just learning to process like grief and these different types of grief, like grieving the parents that that was your rock, that was your everything, that you grew up with, that raised you, and then also weirdly grieving a parent that you didn't know. Like, it's just, it deals with these things, but in such a, I really felt like the way the author just kind of navigated these themes and just showed like, I really, one of the thing I really love is, I love when people don't treat like human emotion and human experiences and human feelings as like this clear cut formulaic thing. Like, when they allow for it to be messy and confusing, and when they allow for the characters to just navigate it in the most human way possible. And I feel like Jill Francis, who is the author of As Long as It Takes, really does that with this book. And yeah, another author who, this was my first time reading a book by her, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, you should read As Long as It Takes when it comes out in July. Um, so the next book on my list, I'm gonna save that one for last, mostly because honestly, it's probably gonna be the book that I talk the longest about. I don't know, but I really, really loved it, so I'm gonna hold on and go through my other list because I really love all the books on my list. But this book is extra special to me, so I'm gonna skip it for now and go to the next thing. The next book is another book I read as an arc. It's called Dangerous Play by R.D. Baker. Remember a few books ago when I said I read this book called Unseen by R.D. Baker, which was a dark historical romance? Well, this is the same author, but this is a contemporary romance. It is a sports romance. It is set in England. It is set in world of football, which is like the sport of the summer because the World Cup is happening. And I'm not going to call it soccer because, no, it is football, and that's that. I loved this book. Like, when I say I love this book here, this book had me at hello. I know I've said that before, but Dangerous Play by R.D. Baker had me at, literally, when I say the FMC burst onto the scene on the first page from the first line, that's what I mean. I fucking loved it. It was fun. It was emotional. It was intense. Dark things happened. Sad things happened. It is about so much. Like, the way that RD kind of navigates all these different layers of like adulthood, from masculinity in these three different like you see, we see what kind of like, how do I put this? Like, the legacy of toxic masculinity, what that does, how that shows up, but also in the ways that, like, the way she talks about the way that women get blamed for the behavior of men, the way that it's like, if you endure the shit that a man puts you through, you're like a really strong woman, you're this, you're that. You don't do it, and somehow you're a monster. And how women are made to carry the shame of the behavior of the men that sometimes we unfortunately love, who did not deserve that. The way that RD navigates all of that while developing this really incredibly beautiful love story between the two main characters, Dominic and Mia, I loved it. I loved it so much. I made sure that Big Show read it because I'm like, yeah, girl, you have to read this book. I'm not reading it alone. You need to read it. And I fucking loved it. It is so good. It also is kind of a taboo romance because the MMC is the FMC's former, like, is the FMC's father-in-law. But when you read the book, you will root for this couple. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, yeah, you guys fall in love. I am all for it. I really loved it. It was so fucking good. So great. Have zero complaints. Loved every moment. Like, I really felt like if you've ever been the kind of person who watched football, which I used to a lot when I was younger, I was a Manchester United fan. I was a Real Madrid fan, sometimes a PSG fan. Paris Saint-Germain. I think it's a French football club. Okay. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, well, I mean, it's in the name, right? Okay. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, if you want to read, if you want to read a sports romance that is about football, that is set in England, that is about a father in law falling in love with his daughter in law, that is about a woman navigating just the shitty world of dealing with the British press and the insanity of like the insane shit that women have to deal with, especially when they're married to or in relationships with powerful men. This is a book that you read. It was so fun. It was quite insightful. I enjoyed it. It was great. Okay, another book is by an author that I love who, duh, I have read this book, this series from the very first one. And I'm talking about none other than Anna Huang's King of Scene. The book that came out this year was King of Gluttony, which is about Sebastian and Maya. I fucking loved it. I enjoyed it. I have enjoyed every single book in this series. I have literally, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I think next year, the one coming out next year, King of Lost, is the final one, right? There's Seven Deadly Sins. I think this is, yeah. Next year's book is the final one. I don't know what I'm gonna do when it's over. Like April has been Anna Huang April for me for the last how many years, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I really, really enjoyed King of Gluttony. I really enjoyed Sebastian and Maya. I loved the way they went from rivals to lovers. I loved the way that like they just navigated that. And of course, which I mean, I think I say this in every episode at this point. I said it in our Alexander interview. I said it in the last our episode with my epic show. I love when I'm reading an interconnected standalone series and I get to see glimpses of the other characters and I get to know what the other characters are doing and what's happening. It's kind of like when you're watching your favorite show that is a spin-off of another show that you love. So you get to see like glimpses of what's happening with the other characters. That's kind of how it feels. So I really love, especially because in this series, all of them are like in the same kind of friend group. So you get to see Dante and Vivian and Kai and Isabella and Vok and Ayana and Sloane and Xavier and all these people. And it's like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was so fun. I don't know. If you've not read King of Gluttony, first of all, are you living under a rock by Anna Huang? Go read it. Thank you. Next book on my list is another arc that I got, which I was really, really fortunate that I got to interview the author of this book. It is The Thief's Captive by R. Alexander. And I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. Like, first of all, yeah, R is kind of really, really shady for this because you start this book by laughing your ass out. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, yeah, some insane shit is happening, but you're laughing your ass out, but then you're not ready for how much pain she's going to put you through. It's like, she's like, let me butter you up first. Let me get you settled. Let me make you laugh. Let me make you be like, oh my God, what is going on? And laugh your ass out. And then she hits you with some intensely emotional, gut-wrenching shit. And then you're like, well, damn, R, I thought we were just vibing. But turns out you're not just vibing, babe. You're going to go through it. But it's going to be worth it. I love this book so much. I love when an FMC is allowed to feel her rage and to express it. Like, nothing will ever make me read a book where the FMC gets to explore, one, gets to feel her rage. And like, no one is being like, oh, babes, don't be so angry. Like, no, girl, be angry, feel it. Like, lose your shit if you want to. Like, no one should get to fuck with you and get away with it. I loved it. I love that. I mean, that's not all the book is about. There's so much in it. I really loved it. And more than even that, which I really loved the book, I can't stop saying how much I loved it. Big Show Loved It Too is one of the arcs this year that both of us got, and we loved it. We did a joint review on our Instagram, which you should go check out. Our Instagram handle, if you don't already know, is at Pearl and Honey Books on Instagram and on Threads, where we yap a lot. But go check out our Instagram page. Anyway, we got to interview our Alexander, and I got to talk to her about the book, and I got to ask her questions about it, about how she developed the characters, about the story she was telling, and I really loved our conversation. And I'm like, having that conversation with her made me even fall more in love with the book. I really loved it. So go read The Thief's Captive by R. Alexander. Thank you very much. Okay, next book is the arc I'm actually currently reading, which, I mean, technically, I'm not finished with it yet, but I am like almost 90% in, so I'm almost done with it. But I have to add it because I don't read a lot of romantasy. I do read romantasy, but I probably read more contemporary romance and more romance in general than I read romantasy. And I've read some really great ones this year, but this one really stood out for me because I've never read a romantasy that is kind of built around like the Book of Revelations. If you don't know what the Book of Revelations is, it's the last book in the Bible that talks about the end of the world and the four horsemen and all of that. All the end of the world, judgments, humans, hell, demons, all the things. I'm not going to be like, go read the Book of Revelations, but I'm going to tell you to go read The Huntress and the Four Horsemen by Darby Briar. It's an arc that I got, and I'm really glad that I got it because I don't think, like, I would not have known to stick out a book like this. But as I started to read it, I fell more and more and more and more in love with it. Like, the more I go, the more in love with the book I'm falling. It is so good. It is so good. It is about the FMC in the book starts like is born in like a sort of convent, but it's not really called a convent. She really just says my order where she was born into, and like she's chosen to kind of be the one to be there to rebuild like the human world while at the end of days. I'm pretty sure I'm not doing that justice, but The Huntress and the Four Horsemen is really, really good. And I really, truly feel like everyone should read it. Like, I'm genuinely serious. I think you should read it. I think it's great. Do not come at me and be like, I'm offended. I will genuinely just ignore you because I do not give a fuck about offending you or whatever. That is not what's happening here. Read the book because it's a great piece of art. But it also just, as someone who grew up going to Sunday school, who grew up Christian, I'm not really like, I'm not really like religious anymore, but I am still very spiritual. But there's just a lot of ways that, I guess this is also the same reason why I like reading books about like angels and demons. Um, but there's a lot of ways that sometimes religious texts and religion in general, which honestly, this is the fault of men and humans in general, it treats humanity like it's this cut and dry, black and white, one path or none type of thing. And I really like all the ways that this book kind of explores the complexity of humanity and the complexity of like sin and the complexity of judgment and the complexity of like human behavior, especially human behavior in a crisis. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm almost done with it, and I'm gonna be kind of sad because I don't know how long it's gonna take for the second book to come out, but I definitely want to finish the series. Um, yeah, so go read The Huntress and the Four Horsemen. Also, it's a White Shoes book. I'm pretty sure it's a White Shoes book. I think it is. But yeah, go read it. It's by Darby Briar, and it's out on the 1st of July, which is like 3 days from now. So 3 days from now, as in 3 days from when I'm recording this, which is 28th. So yeah, read it. So good. Now, drum roll, please. That's like me using my mouth to do a drum roll, which is not really a drum roll. The final book on this list, it is a book that I have been waiting for at least 2 years. I have followed every single nuggets, every single bit of news about this book, and I got an arc for it. Now, when I got my arc, I was in public. When I saw the email, the email you get if you get arcs, if you've ever gotten an arc from NetGalley, you get an email that says you've been approved for this arc because you have to apply for it. When I got the email, when I tell you that I was in the middle of a grocery store and I screamed in the middle of the grocery store. I literally screamed, and my sister turned to me and she was like, only a book can make you this excited. And I was like, yeah. It was a book that made me this excited. I have been waiting for this book for so long. And honestly, not only did it live up to my expectations, which were like astronomical, it blew me the fuck away. Like, I am never going to be over this book. I am never going to be over the fact that I got to read this book. I am never going to be over the fact that this book exists in the world. I will always scream for people to read this book. The book is called Games, A Love Story by Anna Maria Volkova. It is a book about love, economics, power, politics, sex, arts. It is perfection in literary form. Like, I don't know any other way to describe it. It is a book that, first of all, if you love politics, whether you're a liberal or you're leftist, socialist, progressive, whatever it is, you're going to love this. If you love economics, if you love the intersection between like art, politics, economics, humans, people, I don't know, like I cannot recommend this book enough. I have never read a book that feels like this. I have never read a book that made me feel the way that Games has made me feel. I have never read a book that I know I am, like, this is a book I'm going to read multiple times. A lot of the books on this list are, but Games is such a unique emotional experience. The way that Anna Maria is able to just dig in to grief, to the ways that like we heal from grief, which is like a theme that has been in some of the other books that I've read this year. And they've all navigated it in all these different ways. But the ways that Anna Maria kind of navigates it, because it's not just like there's the grief of like losing your family, but then there's also the grief of like Alexander, the male main character, is originally from Russia, and he escapes the Soviet Union like the 90s, and moves to England and goes to school in Oxford, and then now he lives in New York and is like this high powered like finance guy. He's like I don't know, think BlackRock. He's like a huge ass finance guy. Like, the way that he talks about, like, there's a line where he says, you don't know what it feels like to watch your country destroyed and watch the world cheer. When I tell you that I made I took screenshots of my favorite quotes, and I did a screen recording of like my notes while I was reading on my NetGalley app. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that like the screen recording I did of my notes is like almost 4 minutes. It's like more than 4 minutes long because I could not stop annotating this book. I cannot wait to get a physical copy and read it again and annotate the fuck out of this book because there's so much in it. Like there's a part, like I keep saying, like the Lily, the main female main character, is working on her graduate thesis. She's studying economics. And I really would love, I really, really hope, because I think I posted this on our Instagram stories, that I really, really hope we get to read her thesis because it's so interesting. Like the parallels that she draws between capitalism and Protestant Christian culture. I was like, wait a minute, I have never thought about it this way, but she's so right. Oh God, this book, Games, a Love Story by Anna Maria Volkova, it is fucking exceptional. Like, it's kind of so hard to believe that this is a debut author and this is her first book because I cannot wait to see what she writes in the future and what she does in the future. But this is a book that, like, you have to sit with it. Like, it gives you so much and you have to sit with the things and really, like, absorb them and really think about them. It changes the way that you think about a lot of things. It definitely does that because it definitely did that shit to me. I loved it. Like, it reached into my soul and got at me. When I tell you, like, there are parts of this book that are so gut wrenching, I just, I felt so much, but I loved it so much. There's not a single thing about this book that I did not like. Everything about it. Lily's relationship with her friends, Lily's relationship with Alexander, Lily's relationship with herself. What a fucking book. Like, what a fucking book. I cannot, like, praise this book enough. I swear to God. Read Games, a Love Story by Anna Maria Volkova. By the time this episode is out, the book will already be out because it's coming out on the 30th of June. I think in the US and in the UK. I don't know what the release date is in other countries, but I know in those two countries it's coming out on the 30th of June. You have to read it. You have to read Games, a Love Story. Like, it is not, like, I'm not even kidding. You have to read it. It is so wonderful. Like, it is so intelligent. It is so fucking brilliant. Like, the conversations that Lily is having with Alexander has to be one of my favorite parts of the book because they have, like, intellectual sparring. Like, let me tell you something. Nothing, and I mean nothing, turns me on than when someone turns my brain on. Nothing is sexier to me than a smart, intelligent person. Nothing. And, like, that is such a huge part of this book. So it is, that makes it so sexy to me. But, oh my God. You guys, you have to read Games. You just have to. You just absolutely have to. Okay. Anyway, this is one of my favorite books that I've read this year. Go read Games. I'm serious. But seriously, read any of these books. Read all of them. Like, there's something for everyone. If you want, like, dark romance, I've got it. If you want historical romance, I've got it. If you want taboo, I've got it. If you want, like, literary fiction, I've got it. Which Games is like it's a literary fiction too. Like, you gotta read Games, babes. You gotta read Games. You just have to. You have to. Like, this is not an option. You must read Games, a Love Story by Anna Maria Volkova. That is all I'm gonna say on the subject. But anyway, thank you for listening to me yap for almost an hour. I swear to God, I did not expect this to be that long. But let me know if you read any of these books. Like, literally, leave me a comment. You can go on our Instagram. For most of these books, I did reviews on our Instagram. So if you read them, please feel free to tag me at Pearl, like, you know, clutching your pearls, Pearl, and, like, AND, Honey Books on Instagram and on Threads. leave us a comment. You can go under the comment of like any of these books because I did reviews for all of them. For most of them, and just leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, okay? Let us know what you thought about any of these books, and I'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to me yap for like an hour. um, yeah, this has been fun. And I hope the sound of the rain is not like disturbing your listening experience. I just feel like it's a really good sound. But yeah, anyway, that's our show. See you on the next episode. Okay, happy reading. This is the Happily Ever After Place, a romance podcast brought to you by Pearl and Honey Book Club, where we discuss all things romance, from romance books to romance authors to romance adaptations. Join us every week for conversations about our favorite books, in-depth interviews with some of our favorite authors, and so much more. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube.